Hi guys, for those of you that don't know, I'm Michael and I'm the woodworker for MK Designs. I wanted to come out with my first build video this week, but unforeseen circumstances just wouldn't allow it to happen. So I wanted to get something out for you guys. So I think what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to make this look like this. So let's get to it.
Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to take a piece of 4/0 steel wool and put it into a quart-sized jar and fill the jar with vinegar, just regular distilled white vinegar. Let that sit for about 4 days, at least 4 days. And then when you're ready to start doing this, you want to steep some tea in some hot water. I use the family size gallon tea bags in about a cup of water. And once you have that, then you want to just start brushing it on. I use the foam brush. You can use just about any brush you want for this. And you just want to make sure you get it all in the cracks and crannies and all the little spots. And then you want to take that and set it aside and let it dry before you add the vinegar. I do apologize for the camera angle here. It's a bit new to me filming with my phone, and I had it set up on my workbench while I was doing this, and so you can see it shake a little bit. That's what's happening. I will get it adjusted. So as I said, you just want to make sure you get everything brushed, all the sides, and don't forget to do the inside. Get in the little nooks and crannies. And by the way, these are just little crates I made from 2x6s that I got from Home Depot. And I'm doing this on them because it's kind of the look my wife kind of wants for her new craft room, sewing room. And we're going to be hanging those up in there so she can store her yarn and fabrics and things of that nature in it. And so yeah, you just want to brush it on real liberally, take your time, make sure you hit everything, and then set this aside for about an hour and let it dry. Okay, so these have set for about 2 hours and gotten completely dry, and the tea is completely soaked in. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do it on a scrap piece just to show you how quickly the change can occur. And all you do is brush it on just like you did before with the tea. And as you can see, the change is almost instantaneous. Obviously, the longer it sits, the darker it's going to get, but there you go. That's how quick this change actually happens. Okay, so now that I've got that one completely done, I'm going to hold up the other piece of scrap and show you the difference, just already, how much of a difference there is. Okay, so here you're going to just go the same as before. You're just going to brush over everything, make sure you get every little spot and in the cracks and whatnot. As you're doing this, you may notice that you're going to drip, and that's perfectly okay. And it's going to hit spots, and it's going to start to stain, and it's going to look like it's going to just ruin your whole project. But as you go across it and you get everything even and just spread everything out evenly with the brush, it'll all blend together, and it'll look just fine. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through this because no one really wants to sit here and watch me spend 30 minutes doing this. This doesn't take very long to do at all. The longest time it takes is the dry time between the tea and the vinegar. And of course you have to wait the 4 days for the steel wool to get dissolved by the vinegar. But other than that, it doesn't take long at all once you start brushing it on. I will make a short video in the next few weeks on the crate in the background, how I did that one. The one that I'm currently working on was actually just a test. I was testing out the design and whatnot. We really didn't like the way it looked, and once I was done, the pieces weren't quite long enough to be able to put a bottom on it properly. So this one, we're just going to hang it on the wall, and she's just going to use it that way. But the one in the back worked out really well, and we're going to start using that one for our craft shows and whatnot to display our materials, and we may even start selling them. We're not real sure yet. But I will put a video out on how I did that, and I'll have dimensions and everything for you. I'm not very good at SketchUp yet, so I can't do plans. If anybody out there has any advice on good training on SketchUp, I'd love to know about it. So once you're done spreading on all the vinegar, you're going to set this aside and let it dry for an hour or so, and then just apply whatever finish you want. I'm going to spray it with lacquer because that's my all-time favorite finish at the moment. It's quick, it's easy, it's very forgiving, and I can apply multiple coats within an hour, a few hours. So here's a different angle, a little bit of a close-up on the two crates. After I've put the vinegar on, let them dry for a little bit. I haven't put the lacquer on them yet, but I'll do that soon. But This is just a different angle to give you an idea of how dramatic and how of a look this is and how even it can actually be.
So as you can see, that's a pretty effective way to age wood, make new wood look old, and there's a lot of ways to do it, but this is one of my favorites. And just to show you what it's like, this is the piece that I just put vinegar on. It's a day later. I wound up having to shoot this video today instead of yesterday because the wind was just getting too bad. You guys couldn't have heard me. The audio was just awful. But this is what it looks like with tea and vinegar, and this is what it looks like with just vinegar. You can see there's quite a dramatic difference in it, and it just depends on which look you're going for. You can do either or. But my one suggestion I would make is if you're going to do this, wear gloves. I don't know if you can see that or not, but my fingers are pretty well stained. I did not put gloves on, and I should have. I want to thank you guys so much for all the positive comments and feedback that I got last week on my first video of just setting up my shop. I never would have thought that my little setup here would have gotten so much response, but it is what it is, I guess. The comments were so positive and so supportive that I decided that I am going to start doing this full time. I'm going to start putting out videos on a regular basis. I can't promise that I'll be able to put one out every week, but I can promise that I'm going to try. And the further along we go, hopefully everything will get a little bit better and I'll be able to get better camera angles. I don't know if you noticed or not, but at the first part of this video, the camera angle is not quite right, and I did not know that until after I'd done it. And it's one of those things that I can't go back and repeat it. So, yeah. As a matter of fact, I've set up a Patreon page, and I'll put a link to it down below if you'd like to go over there and check it out and maybe give us a little bit of support and help support this adventure. We greatly appreciate it. I'll be sure and put a link to our Facebook page and our Etsy store down in the bottom. And speaking of Etsy, I'm going to be setting up a web page for MK Designs in the next couple of weeks. And when I get that set up and running, I'll be sure to come back and put a link to that down below also. And I'll go back and put a link to that in the first video as well. If this is your first time here and you like what you saw and you like to see where this adventure takes us, then please, I encourage you to click on the subscribe button down below and hit the little bell if you want to get notified every time I put out a new video. So one more thing I'd like to talk to you guys about today is a Facebook community that I'm a part of. It's called King's Fine Woodworking Community. I encourage you, if you want friendly advice and tips on how to do whatever it is you may want to do with woodworking, go over there and check us out and join us. We'd love to have you. We're currently at almost 3,000 members, and we're trying to reach 5,000. And our skill levels range anywhere from beginner to master craftsman. So we're full of advice, and we're all very friendly and more than willing to encourage people in this. I guess that's about it for today. So until next time, happy creating.